All right. Hello, everyone. I'm actually getting started on time today. Um, Let me know if you can see me, if this is actually live. Hey, Libby. Hey, Karina. All right. We're all here. I'm doing well. Um, so, you know, I've been reading a lot lately and listening to things kind of a biblical nature. Um, and I've just been so surprised at the number of times that there's this just almost casual, I curse, this one son, or I curse the lineage of this, one son, or I curse all men and women. Like just this energy of cursing, like it's nothing to blink at. And I just thought it was so strange. And so, like, is that the root of all the issues that we have today, is because of all these curses? I mean, even like back before Jesus was ever even, I think, a concept, um, there was this whole battle, genocide between, like, within the 12 tribes of Judah. So the tribe of Benjamin um, did something that the other 12 tribes disagreed with, and these 11 other tribes, like, pretty much wiped out um, all the lineage of the tribe of Benjamin, and again focusing mainly on the women and children, so that um, their lineage couldn't reform itself. And they cursed the tribe of Benjamin, like the men, that if they married any woman that from any of the other tribes, their that lineage would be cursed. They would have, a lot of death and destruction. And so the tribe of Benjamin had to repopulate itself with women that weren't actually part of their original 12 tribes. So it's this energy. And I find it really interesting. We're getting ready to have a thunderstorm here. So, um, they're wanting us to not do this, but we're doing it anyway because God has told me, like, repeatedly over the past couple days, of like, this is something that really needs to be addressed. So I've already created a sacred container around everyone, like anybody who's part of my group and anybody who'll be joining later, or anywhere else that this video is shared. Everybody will be within this protective energy. Yes, we're doing it. So anyway, we're going to compose ourselves, reconnect our energy into this protective shield around everyone, connecting into the one true living God. And we're opening up the collective fields, the collective quantum fields, and the collective true living organic galactic Akashic records, with the sole intention of clearing all the curse energy that we possibly can today. So immediately I feel the energy of the snake rising in. So like that original kind of the wickedness that came in and whispered false things, like, and again, that's oh, there's going to be a thunderstorm there too, Libby. That's interesting that it's in both places. Um, don't be scared. We're doing this. We're well protected. But like the other thing with most of this energy, where these families, these lineages get cursed, or these generations get cursed, is that there's this, um, the devil, Lucifer, Satan, whatever it wants to be called, um, comes in um, and deceives the people. So, whether like it was actually Eve that ate the forbidden fruit. And for anybody who's interested, I just found recently this YouTube channel called God's Words Unmasked, and I highly recommend it. So, she has been looking at all of the ancient biblical texts, like the Apocryphy, Book of Enoch. Um, and from her research and what she found within these texts, it wasn't actually an apple. That like the original Hebrew word for apple was close to sin, so they equated sin and apple together. That's where like the concept of the apple, but that it was actually some kind of grape that was growing. Um, so just whatever that forbidden fruit was. And if we think about it, like the one of the spirits is wine, right? So that grape, that when it gets fermented and turned into wine, if we partake too much of it, we allow spirits into our body, and we don't make good choices. So it's this infiltration of energy, and that false snake whispering like half truths and things to deceive people to make the wrong choice. So clearing out this deceptive energy from all of our bloodlines. And even removing it like out through our own mouths. So like anywhere like we have spoken um false false information or lies, like especially when we're young and we're trying to um find who we are. We try to be seductive or show ourselves as more than we are. So removing that energy of sin from our own throat, from our own mouths, cleansing our ears um, of anywhere that we hear and allow in the voice of the devil. And so I see like the snake energies uh, collapsing out of our ears. And even removing some of the energy of the curse that God placed on Adam and Eve and their lineages, that the men should toil in the dirt, and the women should have pain in childbirth. So I see it um like I see the exile from the garden as almost a necessary thing. Like we ate of this fruit. Our perception was open to things other than the goodness that was there, and we could see the darkness, and it was almost like this having to leave, having to push, just like sometimes if a child is an adult child is um not making the right choices and is not like growing up and learning how to survive on their own, you sometimes have to push the child out, um so that they can actually pick themselves up and become who they're meant to be. So I see more of that energy of, okay, the next stage is to learn how to overcome and reconnect back into God. Now that you've your eyes see things differently, um it's now becomes a choice of you get to find your way back home, versus like this true cursing and um like this hatred of us. It's more like a loving thing of like, okay, this energy can't be here. So you've got to go out there um and find your way back to the garden, back to home, back to God, to the inner kingdom within us. And I feel more like whispers from, you know, the the devil kind of saying, kind of reiterating to us that we're not worthy of God's love, pushing us further um, into sin, thinking that we're not worthy instead of how do we find our way back home. And so anywhere that we as humans perpetuated that energy of cursing our children, cursing other people out of anger and hurt, we're collapsing that out of each of our bloodlines, out of our timelines. And I feel like as we continue to fall, I feel this energy being siphoned off of us. So like the further that we fall, the more energy that the devil and the fallen angels were able to pull from us. And that's why, again, as we make our way through it and we're reconnecting to this true God source energy, they're doing more and more things trying to bring us down into a separation from God, because the more we take away our food source, as we elevate to this higher uh, God state energy. So we're going to call back all of that energy that they siphoned from us, all of that God source energy that they have fed off of, and we return it to everyone. And as this energy is coming back through, I see it moving through this sound wave of God source healing. So clearing out any of the darkness that was infiltrated into our energy. And I see sunlight streaming down through all this energy, again, cleansing all of our energy back to this higher God source frequency. All right, so the this energy and this curse of um, a shorter lifespan and like a shorter and shorter, the more that we have fallen into um, the energy of sin. So unplugging from that system that again takes our life source, um, takes the part of us that is the God source, that is immortal, and unwinding that energy from from our bodies, from our DNA, anywhere that's drawing our youthful, immortal energy, clearing that out. Clearing it out from the bottoms of our feet. It's almost like I feel like we're stuck on something that um, kind of keeps us in this timeline of um, shorter life. So they're peeling off these strips that are on our feet. Going to bring the water elementals through to just do a quick cleanse and clearing of this curse energy so far. And we're going to collapse out this energy that has been this curse energy where I see like cement boulders on our legs, like from kind of the knees down, keeping us stuck. So keeping us stuck in lower vibrations, keeping us stuck in um, an earthly realm, and not in a way like it's a stuck. So it's not I'm I'm on this earth and I'm bringing energy in, but like this um, it's a negative energy that doesn't allow us to move and shift and change. So they're gonna break and smash all these cement blocks around our legs, bringing back our freedom, our freedom to choose God. And that's crumbling away. So there's a lot of kind of atrophy within the lower portion of the legs. So like the calf muscles are vital. Like as we walk, it pumps blood. And so we're going to call in all of the angelic and galactic starseed beings to heal and repair our lower legs and bringing back that ability to pump vital life force and our blood source and DNA, like the true living DNA through our bodies again. And as they're working on our lower legs, um, they're clearing out some curse energy from the giants, the Nephilim, who um, just had a hatred uh, God's children, um, for those who were, humans, I guess, is maybe what they would have called us, or whatever they would have called us, like that energy of this curse from them on our being. So almost it's um, like almost like their spirits have stepped into our bodies and have been um, controlling and manipulating um, some of how we think and believe and choices that we make, especially those who have made really more darker choices with their lives. So we're going to call in pure God source energy to remove these leftover energetic bodies and beings of the giants from all of us, from our thoughts, from our minds, from our hearts, anywhere that they have infiltrated us, and tried to separate us even further from God. And we're going to go into Mother Earth and clear out everywhere that she has been cursed. So, like this barren energy um, within Mother Earth. So, clearing out all the curse energy within her. And as that energy is being cleared out, I see this toroidal energy flowing from the center of the earth. Almost like we cleared enough out that she can further start to cleanse her own system, her planetary system. We're clearing all the fallen blood that has seeped into the planet. We're actually going to run it all the way through the center and out. So allowing her core to cleanse and transmute this blood energy, So this is all of our blood that was spilt through all of this, through all the death, the destruction, um, the barrenness, the wars. So at our highest form, like I see us as um like existing on the earth. So it's like you can see the earth and then you can see each individual person um on the surface of the earth. So from a like a multi-dimensional level. And so we have this again at this pure source level, we have this symbiotic relationship and connection with this planet, with Earth. And it's a very loving relationship, and kind of what happens to us happens to the earth. What happens to the earth happens to us. So through each individual person, we're going to cleanse and heal the connection kind of from the higher angelics, God source realms, down through the center, and then down through the center and core of the earth. So cleansing that relationship. So again, that law of correspondence that works through all these different levels and layers. And I see, like, as we're on the earth, like I see us more in this like we're sitting there meditating and in pure like connection um to everything. And that connection, what is part of what's been severed from us with all this curse energy, and these and the beliefs and our willingness to uh take this on. So I'm assuming, smoking weed, Libby, versus cigarettes, or cigarettes in general. Yeah, I mean, I think, let's see. Yeah, I feel the energy of, cigarettes like more on the masculine energy, and this suppression of our connection to our masculine energy. And it's like this, it's a chemical, um, meant to disconnect us. And again, it's like, especially if it's like filtered cigarettes, like that filter is like, it disconnects us um from like the plant of the cigarette. um and I heard or read something the other day how um the Native Americans or the indigenous people, um, they didn't use they only used plant medicine in ceremony, like if they were trying to connect and heal somebody. So, these are tools, these are like, what comes from the earth is not something that we're always meant to be using. Like, how do we use it, that little bit in a sacred way, in a sacred container? Um, and how do we like set the intention of how do we use this to heal ourselves, to heal, Mother Earth, or both of us together. So really start to think about, when you use these tools, has it been infiltrated with modern technology? If so, don't use that. If I'm going to be doing something ceremonial, like, how can I make this more sacred, and how can I truly set an intention for myself here, versus using anything as a crutch, um, instead of facing our own emotional state. Because again, that goes to that curse energy of, every time we're relying on, either relying on anything except for ourselves. Um, where was the thought going? Um, like, we open ourselves to be infiltrated by the devil, versus, elevated to a level with God. So again, it's not saying like, only relying on ourselves and not asking for help, but, when we're ignoring ourselves and trying to take trying to use something that separates us from ourselves, if that makes sense. So I'm seeing, it's like um how do I describe it? Um, it's a false mother energy. And like, that's maybe like I'm seeing this strange woman, and there's also like in the flood stories that the Indians told, as the planet was being cleared from all of the water. There was this thing that they thought of as the mother energy, and then um, it turned into kind of this evil mother energy, and that's what I'm seeing, like this curse of this kind of false feminine overlay, and it's a fake energy, a fake, like something that um tried to come in and mimic the divine feminine energy and corrupt it. um and it's like this, it looks like the straw doll thing, um and it's like coming in, sliding in. um so clearing out the curse of this fake mother, fake feminine, fake goddess energy. So in some of the ancient stories, like especially um the Sumerian, and even into some of the biblical stuff. There's the goddess Ashira, and then there's the goddess Astarte. And I believe that they're actually two separate beings that like people have interpreted as the same. But I think one is like the true loving um, feminine goddess, and then the other one is the dark, jealous feminine that corrupted the masculine against this um, the pure feminine. So um, yeah, so it's like that. Um, it's like the dark feminine tried to become what the true feminine was and corrupt it. So we're clearing out that corruption and the destruction of the feminine energy. And it's the feminine energy through all of us, through men and women, because it when the feminine gets corrupted, so when our maternal mothers get corrupted, when our own internal feminine intuition gets corrupted, when our feminine bodies get corrupted, as men, like the women that you love, when their bodies, their energy is corrupted, this corruption then infiltrates through everything, through anytime, like if our mothers or anywhere within our matriarchal lineage is corrupted, that energy gets into our DNA as through birth. And then if we sleep with a woman who has been infiltrated with this dark energy, again, that energy is getting into all of us. So even like the same would be true for the masculine with the feminine. So So I see this unraveling of um, these dark, thick cords that from corruption, from this infiltration. So separating the light from the dark within us, separating the knowledge of good and the knowledge of evil from us, so that they're not intertwined as one thing, but as two separate things. The duality, the polarity, this that they are different. Even if there's a little bit of both at the extreme ends, the light is light, the dark is dark, the good is good, the evil is evil. So unraveling the light and dark throughout all of us and separating them. Again, Jesus talked about I forget the exact story, but like the seeds that get thrown, and you don't know, what is good seed and what is bad seed until um a certain level of maturity within the plant, and then you can see, what plants are the bad plants, and you would remove them. And so like that's what is starting to happen now. And the more that we separate ourselves from the darkness and choose the energy of the light, the more that we can, even within our own selves, pluck out what is dark within us. Um, pluck out the parts of us that have chosen darkness. And it's not to say like to not love and accept ourselves and to bring all of ourselves um to the table, but it's still separating, like, you know and moving out, like, what isn't organic to ourselves, what isn't our truth, like what parts of ourselves um were easily corrupted, which ones, like, where are all the wounds, and separating the darkness from the wound so it can heal, instead of repeating these same patterns over and over again and continuing to choose darkness. As we separate that darkness out, we can then, sit there and say, okay, what do I really need in this moment? And there's even kind of more of that heavenly, uh, galactic realm, a separating of light and dark, of good and evil. Because who could we all be if we could truly hold the purest connection to God through our own vessel, and to continue to hear the word of God, and being able to ignore and separate the voice of the devil out of us? Like, who would you be? What would you choose? How would you stand on this planet? It's good that you're coughing, Libby, and moving that toxic energy out. And anywhere that the devil sits cloaked within our fields, and again, just blurring our vision, blurring that path of goodness, so that we are more tempted to choose the dark path. So claim that, Libby. Claim that innocence, and that purity. Innocence is more than just being a child. Innocence is much more mature than we give it credit for. It's purity, it's wisdom. It's a lot of, when I think about the wise warrior, I think about that innocence, and kind of knowing, when is the time to fight, and when is the time to be aware of, like, if I choose that, I'm giving something up for myself. Um, so, and sometimes choosing not to fight is, giving up a part of ourselves. So, like, knowing that difference of, what do I need to fight against? When do I need to fight? And when do I just need to hold the energy of love? Because at the end of the day, that is what will win above all else. And that's the innocence, that's purity, to be able to hold that expansive energy of love. And so we call upon the one true living God source, the divine infinite intelligence and wisdom, to cleanse us and clear us of of all curses, all vows and oaths we made that cursed ourselves. Everywhere that we believed that we weren't worthy of God's love, we ask for that to be cleared through all time, space, dimensions, realities, through all of our bloodlines and generations, past, present, and future. And I ask that anywhere that we have cursed others, whether we've cursed the darkness, whether we've cursed the devil, whether we've cursed our enemies, we ask that God clears and releases those curses from all generations, all lineages, all timelines, past, present, future, all dimensions, realities. And Libby, when you say stolen grace, and am I stealing grace by not doing this yourself? Like by you not doing what I'm doing? Because to me, the fact that you're here and showing up and being part of this, that you are doing this, you're doing it with me, you're choosing this. So there's no stealing. And you're worthy of receiving God's blessings and God's grace, God's forgiveness. And you're worthy of forgiving yourself for any and all choices ever made, past, present, and future. And we have to remember that everything we've been through has been to learn and grow and expand and to be part of life. God doesn't expect us to be perfect. You know, we're going to fall off the path. I talk about that all the time. Like when, I connect to the energy of the Christ and that the path to the inner kingdom and, the pure devotion to God. Like we may fall off, we may lose our way, even knowing everything that we know, there may be a day where, you know, we succumb to something, but do we come back to it? Do we forgive ourselves and do we come back to God? Like that's what God wants. Like at the end of the day, are you going to come back? Are you going to choose God? Are you going to forgive yourself? Are you going to ask for forgiveness? And it's like every day, when that temptation is there before us, to continue to say no, even when it's hard. When 2020 hit, like well, not 2020, but like, everything with COVID, I was thinking, oh, okay, before the lockdown, I'm gonna, I'll get some wine and alcohol and I'll keep it in the house. So like I have something. And I got this clear no. Because we in our family history, there is some alcoholism. And I just knew, like, it was so clear that like if I brought this into my house and I'm by myself through all of this, that I'm going to lean on that as a crutch. And so even today, it's been over 4 years since I've had a drink. But like when I go out to dinner, or I'm with other people who are drinking, there's still this part of me that like is tempted to want to have that drink. And I constantly have to remind myself of, no, that's not my path. That's like God clearly told me no. And I hold on to that. So it is going to be a struggle. There may be a day where I decide to have a sip of something, you know and I'm gonna have to like contend with that, and like clear that from my system. um so like that the struggle is real, and we have to honor ourselves, and every day that we don't choose that, we have to honor ourselves. We have to thank God, like, I didn't choose that today. I didn't fall for that. I'm choosing this every day. I'm choosing to do this work, and that helps me say I'm not going to drink, because I have deep spiritual work to do. And I have seen someone who did not choose to do that and allowed a lot of darkness in. And I remember that. And I remind myself, I do not want to choose that. I do not want that to be my life when I do this work. I want to be a clear vessel. And so, clearing everywhere within us that we are still tempted, and tempted with things that we know aren't good for us, tempted by things that we know God said, don't do that, don't choose that. And we ask God to hold us in that divine light, to give us the courage every day to say no, and to say no even with when everyone around us is choosing different. We call on the energy of Enoch, who was so pure that he didn't experience death. And we ask Enoch to bless us with whatever energy within him made him pure, and helped him to have a true connection to the one true living God. So, Libby, I invite you to connect with God and to really listen, and making sure that it is the true God, that you're not being swayed to any darkness. And then, bring that energy of God into your heart. And do you know deep down within you that Charlie is not the man for you? Does if Charlie makes you anything less than pure and good, to be able to walk away from that. You know, but if there is purity there, and he is there lifting you up and helping you to be pure and whole, then to look at that. So, it's really being clear, letting go of the past. Where are you both today? If he continues to drag you down, then you do get to walk away. Or it even could be, stepping away to heal yourself for a while, and then allowing the connection to happen from that healed space if it's meant to be. So so is it wishing that the plane crashed, or is it awareness of a possible timeline? I mean, sometimes people, if they have an awareness of something, if they have foresight, it could look dark, but is it an awareness? So then separate the darkness that wants that timeline to happen, and then just, okay, what is my gift from God? What is my awareness? So let the darker part go. Clear it out. Imagine just unraveling it from your sight, your inner sight, from your spiritual gifts. And, everybody, like, removing any, so anywhere that we're picking up on other people's fears, and hearing that voice over and over again, um, as a way of amplifying their own fears through our gifts, anywhere that we are picking up on dark channels that are trying to, um, get us to curse others, we clear that out. We're removing the sound of the devil, of Satan, of Lucifer from our ears. And we're allowing true messages from God to come through to us with the sole purpose of being able to take actions to fix anything that needs to be fixed, that we are guided to fix, whether that's clearing out potential bad timelines, um, whether that's having an awareness of somebody, and choosing to create a separation from that person. So, sometimes the judgments that we think we have are actually an awareness of something. So, being able to separate, what is God's true words and what actions God wants us to take um, to help with whatever information we're receiving from God, because that's why we receive information, whether we receive visions, whether we receive the voice of God, whether we receive sensations in our bodies. uh, what can we heal, what can we change within us, how can we change the vibration within us. And so I'm removing any, kind of any boxes, any overlays, um, that again create this separation, from hearing the true words. So, from being truly connected to, our inner wisdom, our inner, guidance, our inner connection to God. So, uh, removing that energy, and even removing, for you, Libby, and for Charlie, removing any dark timelines connected to planes, and anywhere where like we have these dark thoughts that um, are vague remembrances of um, galactic warring timelines that were where there was a lot of darkness from those as we battled. So collapsing those stories out of our earthly being. Mm. So yeah, that Libby, that kill myself, otherwise the sun will explode. I believe is kind of an energy and a story left over from the galactic wars. Clearing those out. So, two good things when those dark thoughts come in, there's the um kind of if you hum, um, like it overrides any, especially like thoughts that are coming from outside of ourselves. And even the ones that feel like they're coming from in us, humming will override those those thoughts. So even like when you have, the earworm where the song won't get out of your head and it feels like, that song, that artist has um infiltrated your system, humming to clear that out. Um, the other thing is, when those thoughts come in, it's having to, rewrite that story. So, okay, I think this, and this is what I truly believe. And just keep reprogramming it, because the more that we get ourselves into the habit of reprogramming ourselves for a higher frequency, a higher belief, a higher thought, um, it, the darkness is gonna, it, if you won't let it in, it's gonna try and go somewhere else. So it's like it's having to stay hyper vigilant. Well, not really hyper vigilant, but like staying focused on those thoughts and rewrite, like overriding it. And like if there's something about ourselves, like I'm not loving or I'm not lovable. Well, where have you been lovable? Because even if there's one small instance where you are loved and you knew you were loved and you knew you loved somebody, therefore that thought, that belief that you're unlovable is not true, and you can let it go. And always coming back to that, where is this thought not true? Even if it's just like a second where it wasn't true, that means that like it's an all or nothing thing. It's nothing, it's false. Right, and the last thing we're going to clear out is so I'm hearing like where Adam cursed Eve and Eve cursed Adam. So like where the disconnect of um the masculine, feminine, male, female, man, wife, where we've created a separation of that. And so true, they say that the Christ could come into Jesus because of the sacred union that Mother Mary had. Whether it was just an internal sacred union or whether it was a true, sexual sacred union with her husband that allowed the Christed energy to come in and be birthed through her. If you separate and curse the men and women so that they are separated, then God can't come into that union. And that bond that creates this beautiful power, and this beautiful love and this beautiful frequency can't happen. So we're clearing that curse of Adam and Eve, and we ask God to bring back the sacred divine union within all of us, bringing us together with our sacred partners, bringing that sacred partnership together within our own frequency, within our own bodies. And we forgive, the feminine forgives the masculine forgives the feminine. And we bring God into this internal sacred union. Feeling God all the way down in our womb space, activating our sacral energy, our wombs, our ovaries, the testes for the masculine, and allowing these energies within us to create this sacred marriage, this sacred union with God. And that is the rod and the staff union, that sacred union that includes God. And I'm seeing some additional curse energy coming out, especially like this um, like I see ghosts like floating out, so spirits. So um, this energy where um, maybe the beings who originally created um, the curse, like their spirits were held and bound to this earth, and so, because they didn't want to let go of that curse. They didn't want it to end, so their energies have stayed on this planet, holding in this curse energy. So we're clearing those out, returning those spirits back to God's source and off of this planet, and allowing Earth and man and womankind, humans, to be free of this curse energy. We bring the water elementals in to do one final scrub of everybody's individual and collective field, doing an anointing of everyone's feet. And then sealing us all up in sacred divine love, oneness with God, rounding down, all work done, and so it is, and so it must be. And we step out of the collective fields, returning the energy to everyone and receiving our own energies back. So thank you, everyone who is here. Thank you to everyone who added their energy to today's session. I hope this helps. There may be more things in the future that we'll need to do around this. So anyway, blessings and much love to everyone. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Bye.